Super Bowl's over. Offseason starts now. We have a lot to talk about. Let's get into it.
Let's get into the show. If I can find the thing.
Okay, let's just roll. Sorry, Jamie.
We'll just go.
Yeah, Jamie failed as producer today.
Right,
As we said, over Eagles dominate the Chiefs 40.
Before moving forward, though, because this is what I was trying to do. The reason why I messed up is because we're gonna do we are gonna do giveaways as normal, but I picked up a bunch of cards. A bunch of Viking cards. I got JJ McCarthy's in here. I got Dallas Turner's in here. I got Will Riker's in here. I even got some Kyrie Jackson's in here. So get your hashtag. We're going to be, if you win, you get to pick any cards you want. So get the hashtag Skols in the comments, like the video, and subscribe. Whoever wins gets to pick from these cards. We got Justin Jefferson's in here. We got all types of stuff going on here. So get those hashtag Skols in the comments, all that good stuff. But anyways, get in this for real now. I was messing around with that. Those
shaky start, but we're
back.
We're half hour late. Everything's all effed up. We're whatever. We'll keep it rolling though. Eagles dominate the Chiefs 40-22. That score isn't even indicative of how big of an ass kicking this game actually was. I mean, a couple garbage time touchdowns for the Chiefs, and if last night taught me anything, it's like, I mean, obviously, of course, you're going to say this about Super Bowl champion, but the Eagles are the blueprint, right? I mean, obviously, Mahomes, amazing. Defense was good most of the year. I mean, they did the one thing that they set out to do last night, and that was stop Saquon Barkley. From a rushing perspective, I think he had what, around like 60 some yards, something like that. They had him bottled up pretty much the entire time. But it just goes to show you, like, you can have one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And you can have a guy that if he won that game, he would have been up in the conversation of greatest of all time quarterbacks before he's 30 with 4 Super Bowls and a three-peat. But if you have a good enough team all around, which we said all year, we said at the end of the season, we thought the Eagles were the most talented team in the league. They proved it last night. You can make any quarterback, even Patrick Mahomes, look like the last 2 games that we saw from Sam Darnold, where he just looked unconfident, didn't trust the pocket, didn't trust his offensive line, didn't trust his receivers, didn't trust himself, made some errant throws. Like, that Eagles team is the blueprint. Now, of course, we're going to have to do a little bit differently because, Howie Roseman, one of the best drafters in the NFL from a GM perspective. Obviously, Kwesi's got a room to grow there. But, yeah, man, I mean, that was an absolute ass kicking. And they got to get into the mind of Howie Roseman and figure out how they can get this team to mold after that one. And I know I saw a lot of people saying after last night, this Vikings team's far off. I mean, yeah, it seems like it. There are a lot of positions we need to fill throughout the draft and everything, but I really don't think this team is that far off from getting where we all want them to go.
No, I don't think at all. And I mean, like we've talked about, we were just on Bleacher Report. We gave our opinions of like what we have to do to win the Super Bowl. And the obvious thing is there's the holes on this team are obvious, and we have the means to go fill them as soon as this off season in general. Our money just increases going into next off season. It does feel like we're going to be able to do that. It really just comes down to JJ McCarthy. But going into some more Super Bowl stuff, let me do some shout outs here. We had T-Bass in here right away. Congratulations, Philadelphia Eagles and their fans. Also, Lewis Seen. I seen this blow coming from a mile away. Yeah, Lewis Seen, Super Bowl champion. I doubt he got in. I think he's played like 5 minutes so far on that squad, but hey, I would take it. What's going on, Salute Vikings as well? Big railing in here. Is there one city who doesn't deserve a Super Bowl? Yeah, facts. 100%. I agree with that. My guy Gary in the building. What's going on, Gary? FT Maddie, my dude. Let's go. Who else we got? Heading down to take care best I can. What are we talking about? Gary? Let's go. Dan and Skol, what up? Trenches win championships. Yeah, facts. 100%. Jamie and Casey, no, I'm going to hide one of your cards in her house as a positive purple gang card from you in her house to bring her Skol love. That's what we're talking about. Well, yeah, that's what you got to do.
I think I did see that up here. Yeah, sorry to hear that, Gary. Sorry to hear that. Thoughts of what you
a bit. Mom going to shoot, man. I missed it. Hey, Skol Mason. I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry, but I definitely yeah. Bring that Skol love there, man. Bring that Skol love.
Absolutely.
So miss the live day. So, you're a true fan when you wait this long for them to start the show.
Yeah. Hey, we mentioned last week it would be a little bit later with Bleacher Report and everything, but we're here.
We made it. We hear you. What's going on, Barber in the building? Let's go. Let's go. Barber again. Hey, at the end of the show, I know I saw you, Sarah. You have to wait until your birthday, Sarah. So in 2 weeks, you come here. I'll hook you up. Speaking of that, Barber later, remind me as well. And I'll let you pick a card out of here that you would like. I promised you that I was going to get some cards to send you. So definitely we'll do that. Bleeding Purple in the building. What's going on, my guy? Who else we got in here? T-Bass back in here. Catching up. Bob Swede in the building. What's going on, Bob? All right, I think, Scoliosis. What's going on, Scoliosis? Again, everybody, I bought a ton of cards. Whoever wins gets to pick the card that they want. I got JJ McCarthy's in here. Dallas Turner's in here. We got Kyrie Jackson in here. We got a bunch of stuff. So get the hashtag Skols in the comments, like the video, and subscribe if you haven't already. All that good stuff. Anyways, back to this game. Just like you said, man, I mean, crazy. It's crazy how you go into a game with Patrick Mahomes, like in a lot of people's mind, like if Patrick Mahomes wins this, he does something Tom Brady never has done. And there'd be people, we'd be having a legit debate right now whether or not he's the GOAT or should be the GOAT. I would have said not yet, but at the same time, I could definitely see it happening. Well, having a game like he did and having one of the biggest deficits in Super Bowl history and ended up taking the L, it's people's tune has changed significantly. And now it's looking like, I mean, Patrick Mahomes would have to do a lot. Like, he would have been better off just losing in the AFC Championship, it feels like, than making it to the Super Bowl and losing the way that they did. So I thought that was obviously kind of a crazy thing there. You're against this Eagle squad, and we've talked about it pretty much most of the year that we thought they were the best overall team in football. And we've talked about it about the Vikings. We felt like if you want to go beat a guy like Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen and these like franchise quarterbacks, we feel like you need to try to have the most talented team in football. And that's what the Eagles did. The 49ers, I felt like that's what they did as well. And they couldn't do it. And the Eagles showed that they could. And just like everybody else is saying, it's kind of just like that Rams game, as far as like being really obvious about our own issues for the Vikings. And it's really just the trenches and them being able to protect Hurts the way they were. And then the Eagles defensive line, which me and you have been calling for all like forever since last season, saying that was the most important position of need for us. And I'm still saying that. Everyone else is going to say interior offensive line. I'm still on the defensive. I want both for sure, but I'm still, you can just see the impact when you have that. And for all those blitzing and the edge rushers the Vikings have, we have no pressure up the middle. And it shows when you go see what a Philadelphia Eagles team does to even especially a Chiefs team that isn't known to have just a bad offensive line or anything that.
Yeah. I mean, and that's and like that's the blueprint to bring the Chiefs. I mean, the two Super Bowls that Mahomes has lost, both defenses were able to generate pressure, get after him up the middle, and get him off the spot. It doesn't matter how good you are. If a defense gets at your feet and starts getting pressure on you, the internal clock in your head is going to speed up, and you're going to start making some mistakes. So it really was the blueprint to how to beat a Mahomes-led team. And it just when you look at that defensive line, you have Sweat and Smith Jr. on the outside, and then in the middle you have Milton Williams, who became my new favorite free agent target this offseason. You have Jalen Carter. And you still have Wyatt Davis in there as well. Or not Wyatt Davis. That's not his name. What's his name?
Jordan Davis.
Jordan Davis. Wyatt Davis. That's the guard from freaking Ohio State that ended up being a bust. But then you have Jordan Davis up the middle. Like, who do you like? And then they still have Bond at linebacker. Like, when you're an offensive line, like, who do you block? Right? I mean, it's just all those like Jalen Carter, Milton Williams are just going to eat up some gaps and get after the quarterback. Good at stopping the run. You got two really good edge rushers. It's absolutely insane. Plus, Vic Fangio, who is, I mean, obviously one of the, been in the league for a long time, and there's a reason for it. One of the best defensive coordinators probably in the history of the NFL, and just it's crazy, man. It was crazy how they were able to make the Chiefs just look absolutely worse than pedestrian most of the night. It's absolutely insane, absolutely insane. But that defense, man, it all starts up front with them, and then they just have really good defensive backs as well. It's just a really well-rounded football team, and
so good.
It's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, but that like look, our offense has shown it can be good enough. It can put up points. It can score when it needs to, pending how JJ McCarthy does, right? But the defense is the thing that I still am the most concerned about going into next season. I have enough trust that our defense can be, or our offense can be good enough to keep us in games. It's just with the way that Flores likes to run that defense, we just need more pieces there, right? And we've known that cornerback wise, but like you said, we've been calling for a big bodied, impactful defensive tackle for years. And hopefully after, seeing how the season went down, seeing the Super Bowl, Kwesi's going to focus on those spots with all the money we have, 4 draft picks. I think there's a chance to trade back and accumulate some more. So the blueprint, man, the blueprint has been laid out in front of Kwesi. You have the means to go do it now. So just go do it. It's easier said than done, obviously, but we have all the right things here to be able to build the team like the Eagles have. We're gonna have to be creative with money and the draft capital and stuff, but I think we have the right group of guys here to get it done. And again, am I saying Super Bowl next year? Not necessarily, but the window's now, man. The window starts now. JJ McCarthy's the guy. Let's roll.
Yeah, it's kind of just on JJ McCarthy's shoulder. That's what's the crazy thing about the Eagles is they've paid their quarterback and their team is still like this, but that comes from just drafting. So that's one thing that does kind of suck with Kwesi so far is obviously you can say is drafting in general, but going into this year with just 4 picks after having no picks no second day picks last year, whatever. That part does suck. And like you said, we can trade back or whatever, but at the same time, like you want to get impactful players. And a lot of the Eagles players are first, second round picks, right? Quinton Mitchell, Jordan Davis.
Those guys were also low first and high second round picks. So we could trade back, to end of the first round,
which is crazy.
Find a way to get some guys.
Jordan Davis and Carter, they were top 15.
Carter was top. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, they've just killed it, but a lot of them are talented too. They're not later. It's not like they're just getting super lucky later in the draft as much either. They're hitting on their important picks, which obviously is something that we haven't been able to do. And that's the big difference. Luckily, we still have a good team. A lot of Kwesi's free agent stuff, as far as Van Ginkel and Grenard, has kind of saved us a little bit on that front to put us in a position that we can still go and do that. But we do have to hit on we have to hit on our picks. We still have to, Kwesi has to do his thing with free agents and undrafted free agents. And if he can just keep doing that, I think things are looking bright here. Everybody in here, I meant to shout out my boy, Vocal Viking here, the bro Skol. Everybody after this, I know we had to start a little bit late, so we're going to be jumping like almost, we're going to try to get out of here before the Purple Parlor, but everybody in here, definitely go check out the Purple Parlor after this. Skol Mafia, my dude, I see you, my guy. Let's go. George Blunt, I see you as well. I think I got everybody in here now. But yeah, dude. So I don't know. It's just one of those games where like, yeah, that's what we need. And of course, I mean, everybody will say, hey, too evil. Hey, let's go with the $4.99. The prophecy will be fulfilled. And we're going to get into this later. Obviously, if you guys can see, Aaron Rodgers will be the Vikings quarterback. Trey McCarthy for Bryce Young. Sign Trey Lance. Dang, no Carson Wentz at all? That's crazy, dude. You don't want Carson Wentz now because he's not a Super Bowl champion.
But Jimmy, by the way, Wolves are down 40-16 early in the second quarter right now. So that's
fun. Man. Come back. Ooh, that sucks. Speaking of that, yeah. Timberwolves, Alex Rodriguez and Mark Lore, right?
Yep.
Mark Lore won their little dispute to own the Timberwolves, which is a big W. Now the Twins
One team away.
Anyways, yeah, I don't know. That Super Bowl, as far as that goes, I don't know. Was it a great Super Bowl? I wouldn't really say not too much. I'm glad that you got to see, like, I'd rather see an ass whooping instead of just some boring ass game. And that was kind of cool, I guess. But as far as like in general, obviously you would have liked it to be a little bit closer. You'd have liked Kansas City, especially Patrick Mahomes. You're just expecting him to at least like make some sort of comeback or something like that. It just did not happen. And I mentioned this to you earlier, like Brady, and I love all the memes out there about Brady taking sacrifices. Like, I don't know if you saw some of them, but him sitting on the sidelines before when they were down against Atlanta and his head's down, and they're like, he gave up his family at this moment and things like that. And it's just that's just so funny. And but that's the kind of stuff like obviously I don't know if that's what happened with Tom Brady, but Tom Brady took team friendly deals and things like that. It's like Tom Brady really sacrificed to be the GOAT. And that's something that you can see this, like Patrick Mahomes is getting paid some really good money. So, that could be affecting him in the future here, especially if there's teams like this, like the Eagles. Like that's what it takes to go beat some of these guys. And that's the reason why I always thought we can't go with Sam Darnold and have holes on this team because we just want a quarterback that doesn't suck or whatever. Pretty much the same thing with Kirk Cousins. So,
yeah.
There's that there. Obviously, other stuff for the Super Bowl. I miss a lot of commercials. It didn't sound like the commercials really great this year. One thing that I think needs to be talked about, because this is a thing that either a lot of people, either you like the halftime show or a lot of people hated it. I think a lot of it depends on if you like rap or not. I really liked it mostly because I paid attention to the whole Drake, the Drake Kendrick beef or whatever. And the one thing about that, what I liked about it is no matter what, you gotta respect like the rap battle, the rap feud. You gotta respect that. And Kendrick took that to an absolute other level. I didn't expect him to actually drop Drake's name out there. I thought it was really cool during the halftime show too, that they kept sneaking that they were about to play the song and they didn't. I thought that was really smart from a marketing standpoint. But overall, like you just saw the biggest, the biggest rap destroy of all time. Like you can't even beat that for a guy and that's what's crazy, for a guy to make a song, a rap beef song. I'm trying to think what's it called? A rap, the song. I'm sure I can't think of the word.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I
can't think of it. Whatever. Anyways, to create the song, ends up being the biggest song in the world. He wins a Grammy a couple of weeks ago, and then he does it on the biggest platform in the world. That was crazy to me. He definitely won that battle. So I thought that was good. Tupac and Biggie.
Apparently there was some sort of underlying messaging that I didn't, because that was the other thing. It's like, if you didn't like it, you didn't get it. I'm not a big rap guy, so I wasn't really going to pay attention.
Well, that's the message. That's the messaging, is that he took it to another level. He's in the Super Bowl and called Drake a pedophile.
Apparently there was more to it, I guess.
Ain't nothing compared. Yeah, but Tupac and Biggie, this sounds like the Hitman was the same guy, P. Diddy. I don't believe that Tupac and Biggie, I don't know. And from what I know, I don't think Tupac and Biggie, their deaths was because of the other rapper. But yeah, I mean, if there's death in it, that's a different level. But as far as I don't call it playful or whatever, as far as Kendrick and Drake goes, because he's calling him a pedophile. But as far as just straight like rap, like not just a rap beef. What's it called when you make a diss track? Thank you. Damn. Diss track. Yeah. It's the greatest diss track of all time. It's crazy. It has to be. I never seen anything positive even when. But anyways, enough about that.
Again, I'm not a big rap guy. Yeah, let's get some rock back in the halftime shows. I guess that won't happen until Jay-Z is not planning them anymore, but I don't know, it is what it is.
I'm cool with either. I mean, I like rap, so I'm good with it. But I'm not surprised there's a lot of people who aren't rap people. Should have had Wu-Tang. That'd be cool. Tupac's death will never be solved. Didn't they I thought they pinned it on somebody.
What Sarah's saying.
Yeah, death will solve. Yeah.
I'll play a bunch of bullets. Okay. Anyway, we can move on. We can move on from the rapper beef.
I mean, you got to talk. It needs to be talked about. It's part of the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
I want to rock Gary. I thought Gary loved Kendrick Lamar. Anyways, yeah, Super Bowl. I mean, I guess any other thoughts on that game?
Be the Eagles. and look, I mean, and I know a
Be
lot of
the
people
Eagles.
are giving props to Sirianni, like, oh, they wanted Sirianni fired. Blah, blah. Sirianni's not that good of a coach. I mean, anyone could take an Eagles team like that and coach them to a Super Bowl. I honestly believe that. I mean, last year they started off hot, fizzled at the end. Coordinators weren't. I mean, offense, defense was not as good from the year they went to the Super Bowl. 2 Super Bowls ago, or 3 Super Bowls ago now, I guess. But I mean, having Kellen Moore, who really revitalized that offense, and obviously Saquon Barkley coming in was huge to them as well. And Vic Fangio, to me, the coordinators on that team are better than the head coach was. And the reason that I love Kevin O'Connell is he has won at least 13 games 2 times with totally different defensive coordinators and coaching staffs and whatnot. So I don't know. To me, Nick Sirianni's whatever. That team is just incredibly talented with really, really good coordinators. For me, and Howie Roseman is why the Eagles are, have made the Super Bowl, have won 2 Super Bowls and been to 3 since 2018. Like it's GM putting the players in there, or getting the right players in here, and Sirianni just had to not screw it up at the end of the day. And he almost did. He almost got fired. People were calling for his job early on in the season, so he almost screwed it up, but they found a way back, and now they're Super Bowl champions. Just the most talented team in the league. That's really all it comes down to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the most well-rounded team that we've seen in a while. Obviously, they ended up not winning the conference or whatever, but just, I mean, man, especially that young, like that defensive Jordan Davis, and freaking what's a Georgia kid?
When he is a Georgia kid.
Carter, or the other Carter.
Like when Jordan Davis isn't even like technically like a starter on that defensive line, I would kill to have something like that.
What's going on?
Because obviously you got Carter and Milton. You got Carter and Milton Williams out there, and Davis is like your backup. Like, come on, that's insane. That's too rich. They have too many riches there. So Milton Williams needs to be a Vikings. Needs to be a Viking next year. That's all I care about. Milton Williams, DJ Reed, Trey Smith. I'll be happy.
Yeah, that's the only thing. If that doesn't happen, I'm not going to be happy. No, dude, if that happened and we went into the draft literally just really needing a running back, man, we're feeling pretty good going into that draft.
A lot of money need to be spent.
We
got it. Let's do it.
Dude, okay, this is your window. This is the beginning of the window going to next season. Do what you got to do. You got a quarterback on a rookie contract. Do what you got to do.
Right. And it is all easier because the Minnesota Vikings have the 2024, who will be the 2025 reigning defending coach of the year, and Kevin O'Connell winning the award on Thursday night. And then, of course, had a press conference after that put the entire Vikings Twitterverse into a complete spiral of, oh my goodness, we didn't wait till the actual quotes came out, so let's just start retweeting things and causing controversy, which can be led by big names like Alec Lewis, Kevin Seifert, and Ben Gessling. Yeah. You would think guys that professional would know, let's pump the brakes and wait to hear this ourselves before we go retweeting some Detroit guy because he's legit, which he is. But at the same time, like, come on, do your own research and wait to hear the actual quotes yourself before you take some shit like that and run with it and just put people into a Thursday night filled drama show. Like, that was absolutely freaking ridiculous. That whole scenario was just stupid. Kind of tarnishing Kevin O'Connell's Coach of the Year win, because now a lot of the fan base is like, well, what's he saying something like that for? You can't do that. You're ruining everything. Like, just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
No, and I want to add to that because that was crazy, man. That was like, they all stepped up for him, saying like which I don't like. He probably is, but the reality is he heard something. It doesn't even seem like he couldn't have been there and heard it himself. Someone else told him it, and then he reported it, and then he doubled down on you doubled down on it, and you can't even mess that up. Like the Sam Darnold conversation was far over. He was talking about Justin Jefferson for like 2 minutes. There's no one who ever watched that and thought that he was talking about Sam Darnold. So that was just bad reporting in general. But man, I couldn't believe he doubled down on it at the time. Obviously came back out or whatever. He made a mistake. He hurt his ego. His ego got hurt a little bit there, I think. So hopefully he can bounce back from that as well. But you got to be careful out there. Because you got like Viking fans you don't understand what's going on here. We can't I want to hear Kevin O'Connell say that. I just don't agree with that at this point into the offseason. Gone to Vegas. Nah, don't even say that, Big Raylan.
A-Rod was just there.
Anyways,
Yeah, because we were playing it on the West Coast, so we probably figured why not take a swing by Vegas. He's rich. Why not?
we ain't going to Vegas, dude.
You got
Steve,
Young Smokey with the 1999 Super
hey,
Bowl prove everything. We must always invest in the trenches. I'm
facts.
one of those people that think line dominance is more important than quarterback play. Line always elevates quarterback, wide receiver, running back. Focus on the damn line. And exactly. And you saw that, like, because Patrick Mahomes, as we talked about, honestly, already considered one of the greatest quarterbacks ever played the game. And had he won this game, would have had the three-peat, first time it's been done in history, would have legitimately been in the coach of the year, in the GOAT conversation as it comes to quarterback play and overall just NFL players in general. And they made him look like week 18 and week 1 of playoff Sam Darnold because his line was not able to hold up against that Eagles defensive line. And that's really what it all comes down to. You can have the best quarterback in the world. If you're able to get after him, he's going to get rattled and he's going to make mistakes.
Yeah. Obviously, I don't know. I mean, I agree with that. Obviously, you need a good offensive line, but we've seen Patrick Mahomes. I mean, Patrick Mahomes never had the best offensive line. I mean, maybe, I don't know. You see Tom Brady, he's not known to having the best offensive line. I do think I'm always going to stick. I think the quarterback's the most important position, but you could say offensive line's the second. You don't see, not very often do you see a Super Bowl champion team that wins because their offensive line's just good and their quarterback's mid. It's happened before, but not very often. I'm still team. I think quarterback's the most important position, but if you can't give him time, then it doesn't matter if you're Mahomes or Brady or whoever. And you mentioned this earlier. Any pressure is going to make anyone look like. And I don't want to keep using Sam Darnold because he had a good season this year, but make him, like Kirk Cousins under pressure or something like that. I'll use Kirk Cousins. I'll tag Kirk Cousins at least one more time for whatever reason. Take a random stray. But no, I agree. I mean, you definitely have to have a good offensive line. Same with the defense. Like the defensive line is absolutely terrible. Our pass rush was so bad, and it was just super apparent. Like we got 2 games that were so apparent. One was the Rams game versus us, and then this game, it was like so obvious. Like, oh yeah, that's what we need here.
Saquon Smokey with the 1999. Saquon had holes wider than the loosest women in America, deep and wide as Grand Canyon.
Grand Canyon skill positions.
Thank you, Smokey, for the 1999 and the 499. Absolutely, yeah. That Eagles offensive line is absolutely huge, and even in this game, like Barkley was a non-factor, and I mean, and look, like the Eagles offense was good, right? I mean, Jalen Hurts played a damn good football game. Was he like? I mean, Super Bowl MVP, obviously. I mean, there were just so many pieces on that defense. It would have been hard to pick just one. Obviously, with 6 sacks, pick 6 by Cooper DeJean, picked by Zach Bond. They had a lot of really talented spots on that defense, but the offense was just good enough, right? Like Hurts made some huge throws. He had some huge runs in there. That throw to Devontae Smith was awesome when everyone thought they were just going to try to start running the football and run the clock.
Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate that, Smokey. He goes in for the absolute dagger. Like their offense was just good enough, but that defense was the reason this team won the game. And not take anything away from Jalen Hurts because I'm a huge Jalen Hurts guy. I think he's really, he just seems like a good dude. He's handled every bit of adversity he's had in his career, college and pro, with absolute class. And he just kind of seems like a quiet, just mature dude. So I don't want to take the credit away from him in that offense, but this defense is what won them that football game. And it all started for them up front at the end of the day. Edge rushers, defensive line, that's where it started for them. Because the Chiefs, and like you said, the Chiefs don't have a bad offensive line, but they made them look foolish last night. It was crazy.
Well, that's the thing it takes more than, obviously it's a team sport. We mentioned that, T-Bass mentioned that. So it's like, it takes a lot. Like you want your quarterback, you need all of those, right?
Right, for sure.
It's not just the offensive line isn't going to fix your problems by itself for sure. But that's what's special
about
offensive line
a bad offensive line can put a bigger light on your issues, which we saw.
Yeah. Offensive line. Start with like everyone says, like starting with a good offensive line definitely helps everything else. But the solid thing with the Vikings is we already have those other positions figured out. So now it's like, we just know now. It's before in other seasons, in the other off seasons, it was like, we also need this position. We do need a quarterback of the future. We need this, wide receiver too. And now it's just obvious. You need offensive line and defensive line. So now let's go put everything in there and hopefully, we'll be good.
Yeah, because obviously, like we'd both like to see either DJ Reed or Charvarius Ward or even Denzel Ward from the Browns if they're willing to part with him. Like we would love to see a guy like that. But honestly, like if we bring back Bynum and we bring back Murphy and we find a way to bring back Shaq Griffin, I would honestly be okay with our cornerback depth. It even like
good
even
enough.
if we don't get DJ Reed, like, but I mean, it would be good enough to where like if we just invested in defensive and offensive line with the rest of the offseason, I wouldn't be upset with that. Like that's where I think our cornerbacks could be strong enough if you make a couple low key, Byron Murphy and maybe one more low key sign, like bringing back a Shaq Griffin. But like I think so that's why I really think the trenches of this team are the biggest question mark. I mean, obviously McCarthy, we don't know. But the trenches are the biggest question marks. Like those are the spots where we need outside pieces to come into those spots because we know we don't have them on this team right now.
If Rodgers goes to Minnesota, I'm giving Jamie and Casey all my Rodgers stuff. If not, then Sarah.
Aaron Rodgers can politely go somewhere else. No, thank you.
We're going to get into that in a second here. Young Smokey with another 1999. Appreciate you, bro. A bad offensive line can almost always kill your season unless you have Mahomes when he won last year. But the Vikings are cursed at quarterback. All we do is smoke the pain away. Skol. Hopefully, JJ McCarthy. Hopefully, it's different. We're going to get into him in a second here. But hopefully, JJ McCarthy will be different. But yeah, I mean, what Casey was saying is, if we went to next season with the exact cornerback group that we had this past year, maybe not without Gilmore or whatever, and then obviously you got Blackman coming back, and then hopefully we get to see some more annuity. Obviously, I would hope it's better than that. Like we want it to be better than that. But your main goals, especially free agency, is offensive line. But offensive line, defensive line, like get that figured out because we're gonna go into next season, off season as well. We're gonna have even more money. We can deal with cornerback there if we have to. But right now, like get those the trenches figured out. I think that is, like you said, like your number one priority. Obviously, you can't not get Byron Murphy though. If you go in without any good cornerbacks, that would suck. But
what can I say, Gary? It's what I do. Kidding. But thank you. I appreciate the compliment. But yeah, because that's the thing. Like if we go get a Milton Williams in free agency, right? Like a guy who honestly I had heard his name, didn't know a ton about, but watching him last night, I can see where all the hype's coming from. 25 years old. I mean, he's going to get absolutely paid. Would not mind if the Vikings brought him in.
Can't imagine the Eagles are going to be able to pay him.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, if you get him, and then because then the draft becomes wide open. Because I know we've looked at Tyreek Williams, who a lot of people really like out of Ohio State, more of a run stopper than a pass rusher. Though I did hear in his career he has had 43 quarterback pressures, not a lot of sacks, but still the fact he's still able to get after the quarterback. But then like if you bring in a Milton Williams who can get after the passer and play against the run solidly, then your options are wide open at defensive tackle. Because then if you grab one in the first round, if you grab a Tyreek Williams or a Walter Nolan, if you grab a guy like that, or maybe you're lucky enough to get a Kenneth Grant, if you're able to pair a draft pick with Milton Williams and Harrison Phillips and Jalen Redmond and maybe Jonathan Bullard, then you're sitting there staring at that defensive line group and you're like, we're set. Like two pieces could turn your thought process to we're screwed to my goodness, we might have one of the top defensive line.
Same with the offensive line too.
Edge rushing groups in football. Two players, Milton Williams and a draft pick. You could have that all. You could have it all solved. Yeah, and that just gives you so many more options if you're able to hit on one in free agency. But again, all remains to be seen. We're a month away from that, but I don't know, man. It's just trenches. Give me 2 offensive linemen, 2 defensive linemen. Let's roll.
Yeah. And then, if you can get a corner, I'll still take that. But again, everybody, we're giving away Viking cards. Actually, we're giving away a Viking card. I'm going to let whoever wins pick and choose. I bought a ton of them. We'll go through them later, depending on who wins or whatever. But get the hashtag Skols in the comments, like the video, and subscribe for your chance to win a card at the end of the show. Anyways, back to Coach of the Year, Kevin O'Connell. Like you said, we already talked about like the whole situation that happened with the Sam Darnold thing. That was interesting. But Kevin O'Connell, obviously, I know not everybody agrees he should even be a Viking in general. Obviously, the public opinion thinks he had the best coaching season of the year. I agree with them. Kevin O'Connell, I'm glad he's going to be around. He's going to be around in the future. What he's been able to do with guys like Sam Darnold makes you feel really confident about what he can do with JJ McCarthy in the future. And I just think we talked about get some guys on the trenches to help this entire team out. But
right. I mean, and again, the play calling could get better. And I know Nick Sirianni did mention, I mean, they mentioned during the Super Bowl last night, which as soon as I heard it, I'm like, oh, there's going to be a bunch of Vikings fans running with this. How he said he doesn't like to, because he was an offensive minded guy. He doesn't like to call plays because he does want to just manage the game. And obviously, as soon as I heard that, I'm like, of course, there's a lot of Vikings fans that will say, hey, maybe O'Connell should take some lessons. But I truly do not believe he's going to give up play calling. I think he's growing year by year, and I fully expect him to be ready to go next year. And be even better than he already is, which is already pretty damn great.
I might have one, T-Bass.
But I guess, hey, what's going on?
Hey,
Darren?
what up, Darren?
And Smokey with another 1999. He's a great coach,
Thank you.
Like players, he's got to grow and adapt. Otherwise, he can go. I mean, I don't necessarily love the he can go part of it, but I do 100% agree that, I mean, anybody can still get better at their job. But
he's definitely not getting any worse.
No, definitely not. He has room to grow, but he's doing just fine. And there is a lot of people, like, again, I understand that there's people that think maybe he shouldn't have won it, but the fact that, and there's one reason why people were saying, oh, Dan Campbell should be winning this, like his 15-2, Kevin O'Connell couldn't even beat Dan Campbell once this year, yada, yada, yada. They have the wrong Dan. If anything, Dan Quinn should have been the one to win Coach of the Year if anyone was going to overtake Kevin O'Connell in that spot. Because again, the Lions were expected to be one of the top teams in the league. Yes, I know all the injuries and they still won 15 games. Sure, it's whatever. But look, if it wasn't Kevin O'Connell, Dan Quinn came into a team that just switched ownership, one of the worst ownership groups Dan Snyder, one of the worst owners in NFL history, comes into a team that was transitioning to, obviously with the Commanders team name change and everything the last couple of years. There's a lot of drama surrounding that team, right? Comes in, second round pick or second overall pick quarterback rookie, makes it to the NFC Championship game. There's the wrong Dan that people were lobbying for. Dan Campbell, I mean, look, should he have been in the running for Coach of the Year? Sure, because like, again, 15-2, all the injuries, yada, 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 number one seed, all that stuff. But they were expected to be a good team no matter what this year. That offense stayed intact all year long. Dan Quinn, Kevin O'Connell's teams were expected to be bottom feeders in the league, and they both made the playoffs. And Dan Quinn went farther, but it's a regular season award. So if anything, I could have seen people arguing that Dan Campbell should have won it, but they got it right. Kevin O'Connell winning the award. And the cool thing, Bill Belichick being the guy to give him the award and announced it as my third round pick back in 2008, Kevin O'Connell. Super cool stuff there. But yeah, Kevin O'Connell, very deserving. Super cool to see him get the recognition. He probably could have won it back in 2022, but super cool to see him get that recognition. And I don't know, man, the future's bright. I mean, we still don't know the length of the contract or the money involved. I know some people say it's 5 years. Some people have said 3 to 4. Some people have said, 15 or 13 million. I've heard around there. I think Ben Johnson got 13 million. So I'm sure Kevin O'Connell's probably going to get more than that. Remains to be seen, but the Vikings have their guy in Kevin O'Connell. I'm excited to see what he can do with this team in the future.
Yeah, me too. Young Smokey
soon. Yeah.
Yep. He needs to be shot. Yeah, that's the one thing. That's going to be like the big one here. You can't keep pitching out on the got to beat your mentors. But I agree, Kelsey's Coach of the Year. I just want to see growth. Yeah, I think so. I think he's shown growth. There's no he's only shown growth. I mean, he's shown what he's done with the quarterbacks that he's had so far. I mean, has impressed me. Obviously, his record's great. Play calling, obviously, I know we can all see some growth there. I think having a better offensive line in a run game will help him. I know people say he doesn't run enough, things like that, but I just feel like our offensive line and our interior offensive line in general isn't made for that. So we'll see. That's one thing I want to know. I want to see Kevin O'Connell with a good offensive line and a good run game and just see how that changes everything from his play calling standpoint.
I don't think he has any, does he? I don't think Dan Snyder won a Super Bowl when he was there. In Washington? When did he buy the team? Yeah, I don't think he
didn't own Washington in the 80s.
But easily, no matter what, he's one of the worst because the guy's a piece of trash from the sounds of it. Like, yeah. No.
Losing to Dan twice and Sean twice is not great as a Vikings fan who talks shit. I'm saying, my guys, I'm tired of pain. I got you. No, there's definitely obviously the whole team we're not quite there yet, but there's a lot of reasons to be really optimistic about this next handful of years we have, including Kevin O'Connell. Like, if there's going to be a stretch in my lifetime, I've never seen us prepare so much for a stretch. We're never prepared. We never do that. We have an off season. We go get Brett Favre, have one good season with him, and then we switch quarterback, or we have a really good season in 2017, so we go and pay a bunch of money to Kirk Cousins. This is the first time, like the Eagles, where you draft players, you draft a quarterback in Jalen Hurts, you go and build a team, a Super Bowl team, and you're not just force trading and bringing people in here and trying to just put all your chips on one season. And that's why I'm excited about the future here. Like, this is a plan. We had a plan, and it's coming to fruition. As far as like the plan's coming, it's here. It just really does kind of depend on well, first off, we do have to finish the trench, but we have the money to do that. That's why I say it's here. But then it just depends on JJ McCarthy is the question mark here. So I don't know. If I'm a Viking fan, I just think we're headed into a great stretch, man. We're headed into that stretch. The stuff that you see 49ers doing, the stuff that you see in the Eagles do, we're building a team like they did.
Right.
And that's exactly why we should be excited.
Yeah, and if McCarthy is your guy, you got to win a Super Bowl before his contract's up, because that's exactly what's happening to the 49ers now. Is that team is going to be blown up if they pay Brock Purdy, because now they're having to pay a quarterback a lot of money. So if McCarthy is your guy, these next 3 years are going to be incredibly important.
Or
how much longer do you guys think we can keep Flores for? I mean, honestly, once that lawsuit's done, whatever way it's settled, if it's settled out of court, whatever happens with that lawsuit, once that's done, and if he keeps performing, he will be a head coach the year after. So
yeah, but who knows how long that's going to take? I don't know.
Who knows how long that's going to drag on for? But
yeah,
we'll see.
I don't know how long that's going to take. But yeah, dude, or the Eagles, and Kwesi just becomes an absolute assassin drafter, and they can pay their quarterback and still win.
Maybe, but
that would be nice.
Kwesi is getting better every year with a lot of these things. So hopefully, I mean, that's
what up, Raymond? What up, Frozen?
What's going on, Frozen North? If McCarthy and Dallas Turner work out along with what we've already seen from Jordan Addison, I think the conversation about his drafting skill is going to start to turn a little bit, right? Especially if we're able to get an absolute stud in the first round this year, and just thinking we got our edge rusher of the future, who's going to be an all-around outside linebacker, not just a pass rusher. You have your quarterback, and then you use your first round pick to get a stud defensive lineman or whatever direction they decide to go. I think that conversation is going to start to shift.
Yeah. And if JJ McCarthy and Dallas Turner turn out, I mean, nobody would be able to say anything about Kwesi. That would be massive hits if that was the case. Hey, what's going on, Delton? I don't want to hear another motherfucker say defense can't win a ring. But the reality is, but that's the thing, is the Eagles aren't just a defense though. They're like they're their offense is one of the best in the leagues. Their I mean, Saquon Barkley, AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, Jalen Hurts, a great offensive line. Even though I'm not saying that defenses can't win championships, but I think the Eagles, they just have everything. They got the defense and the offense to do that.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's tough.
But that defense gave them so many. I mean, again, I get it, but the defense gave them so many other opportunities and extra possessions with just
this game specifically. Forcing their defense won their game.
And
their defense won that game for sure.
That's why I said not to take away from Jalen Hurts, because he played a very, very good football game. But I mean, overall, offensive stats wise, they weren't that impressive. But still, they played well enough to win the game. But that defense was the catalyst for them getting to that point on offense.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, pick six, multiple interceptions, all those sacks. Yeah. I think defenses can win championships for sure. And it is important to have one. Though you have seen, I mean, that's the thing though, is like there's just some quarterbacks out there that can just win. Even though, I mean, Mahomes has had pretty good defenses. Tom Brady had pretty good defenses.
Yeah.
So you just need a good fucking team overall. That's what you need to do. That's what the Vikings are going to do starting with this offseason. Young Smokey, I agree. Jamie and Casey, I agree. We should be happy about JJ McCarthy. The reportedly multiple outlets.
Report by multiple
outlets. He went this year. We would have been okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And that's gonna be a big thing with McCarthy, just playing within the offense, not trying to make big plays. And like, while you're learning the game and getting on the field, you almost do need to be the game manager type of quarterback until you develop enough to where you can start kind of making those plays. So I definitely do get your point there. But again, we believe that no matter what, he has it between the ears, and that's what I'm most excited about. Skol Fest 3 from Skol Mafia. Thank you for the 1999,
Let's
man.
go.
Appreciate that.
we're
Planning
actually
starts
talking to
soon.
yeah.
Yeah, planning
Yeah,
starts
we're
soon.
actually me and us and SK and Rap. We're just talking about getting together for a meeting to get this rocking early this year. I know SK's making his way up in March to Minneapolis, so he's going to do some legwork for us. But yeah, dude, Skol Fest #3, baby. It's going to be only going to get better and better, just like the Vikings here on out. Hopefully, we're rooting for JJ McCarthy season opener or home opener by that point. Speaking of JJ McCarthy,
What's going on, Skol for Life, by the way? Thanks for hopping in, man.
hey,
Appreciate you.
Skol for life. Let's go. Speaking of JJ McCarthy, obviously nothing in talking about the future of him, and a lot of people saying he's hurt. Is he going to start next year? Nothing but good stuff coming out over the weekend on him. Starting on like Thursday, he had multiple interviews saying that he's throwing, he's passing, he's doing all that great stuff. He's should be 100% for OTAs and just ready to go into this offseason. It doesn't seem like he's going to be held back or anything. That's huge. And we'll see some. It'll be interesting to see what we do with the quarterback position. At this point, I'd be really surprised with Sam Darnold. But if we end up bringing in anybody as far as like competition, more than like JJ McCarthy is going in 100%. Obviously, you guys see our #4 here, Aaron Rodgers, and maybe that complicates some things, but I'm sure everybody in here doesn't even like the sound of that. But hey, that's the news. That's the topic of today. So we definitely got to bring it up.
Yeah. JJ McCarthy. Yeah. And I guess, and like you said, JJ McCarthy, of course,
Thanks,
golfing.
Lord.
Yeah. Yeah. Of
Oh
course.
yeah, I'll make it there. I'll make it
New
there.
yearly tradition, of course, golfing before
I
Skol
just
Fest.
can't. I just can't drive a golf cart into a bunker this time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Even though you guys missed that last time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Don't be doing that.
what's going on, Purple Half?
But when it comes to McCarthy, and I guess that's the one thing, like obviously in that, in those interviews saying what he said, that he's gonna be ready to go by training camp. And then obviously, Kevin O'Connell, just, I mean, again, kind of coach speak, right? Because you don't want to play your hand too much, especially if take and trade is an option. Just kind of saying like Darnold played well, and that's the big thing that came with that whole report, the false report from his acceptance speech or whatever, is just kind of like basically saying Sam Darnold has earned the right to be a free agent. It's like if he comes back here, I'd be happy with it. Justin Jefferson kind of echoed the same thing, but of course he said like, hey, I mean, it might not be here next year, but Sam will be a big part of just this season and kind of his growth as a coach and just the growth of this team was having Darnold here. But like you said, he has earned the right to be a free agent. He's going to have offers out there. The Raiders were a report this weekend. But he also said, McCarthy's future in Minnesota has already started here. He's looking good. He's going to be ready to go by OTAs. O'Connell kind of echoing a lot of the same things. But one thing that you do got to take away from McCarthy in those press conferences is just, man, like if you want a guy, if you just want to know that your quarterback of the future just has the right mental makeup, he 100% does. Those interviews were so professional. Just listening to kind of the way that McCarthy was talking about everything, like you know that you have the right guy up here. It's all just going to come down to, can the talent that he has and shown us in that one preseason game, can it translate to a full season of NFL football on the field? So I don't know, man, like there's still a lot of questions to be answered when it comes to the quarterback situation. I mean, Tom Pelissero also kind of said the situation is still fluid. There are talks ongoing with Sam Darnold, maybe to see if they can work something out on a cheaper deal. Time will tell there, but I do truly believe that Darnold's going to find some bigger money elsewhere. I think he will be gone. I think McCarthy's going to be our guy, and it's great to know that he's going to be ready to get on the field when OTAs start and just hit the ground running with that work and get things get ready to go for 2025.
Yeah. And just to T-Bass's point here, I still question JJ's deep ball ability until I see more. Of course, we haven't seen enough to be like, oh, he's for sure figured it out. But the positive is that it looked good. It looked like there was progress there. As much as we possibly could have seen for a training camp and one preseason game. So at least it's like on the up. Like it seems like it could have been bad and it wasn't. So there's some optimism as far as that goes. And yeah, so I don't know. I'm excited.
Yeah. I guess Aaron Rodgers, I guess short answer, no. I even though he's still getting paid by the Jets, I just have a feeling he's gonna find a way to work his way into getting a multi-million-dollar contract for a couple years. I don't know. I know people are talking about the Brett Favre comparison from the Packers, one season to the Jets, the Vikings, all that stuff. It would be funny. It'd be kind of like, oh, hey, look at that happen again. But I don't know. But Aaron Rodgers isn't Brett Favre to me from an attitude perspective. He's just kind of a dick. He's self-centered. He wants to be the center of attention all the time. I don't know. It's not the same way I felt about Favre that year. Like getting Favre was awesome. Getting Rodgers to me, it's just like, no. And especially since this team has the future already in the building,
The beer
right?
cart,
Like,
babe.
yeah.
All three of them, Gary. I'm a triple threat on the golf course, my guy. But
yeah,
dude.
no. Long story short, long answer, short answer for me. No.
Aaron Rodgers. If you would have told me last year, if we had a chance for Aaron Rodgers instead of the Sam Darnold thing, I probably would have said yes then. I like anytime we can just kind of screw over the Packers, I'm in. And I do think like the whole idea of getting Aaron Rodgers would be funny. At this point, Aaron Rodgers obviously looked pretty regressed last season. He's like what, 39 or 40 going into this next year. I think the only way you'd even like JJ McCarthy, you have to look as the starting quarterback. Like if Aaron Rodgers is okay with being a backup, which he's not going to be, and it wouldn't even make sense. Like what you said, I think he'll probably get, my guess is he'll end up on like a 1-year contract, maybe 2 with another team. I just know he's just getting old. I don't know. Someone out there will give him a chance. Maybe he goes to the Giants or something. Who knows? I don't know. But I do not see any way possible where you're going with Aaron Rodgers instead of starting JJ McCarthy. Like that specifically, I don't see that happening. I know it's Schefter's talking about it. Like people are actually talking about it. You got to be in, like, if you're a Viking fan, you just know better than that. You know better. It's weird when you see even people who know what they're talking about, but they're not as ingrained as us who talk this shit every single day. Like us, you guys, all of us. And you just know how much, like, even like how much that doesn't make sense. And people are talking about even the Sam Darnold situation and stuff. It's just like, all right, you guys obviously don't really understand what's happening here. And there's definitely no way you see Aaron Rodgers make his way here unless he's wanting to be a backup and he's just turned this leaf where he wants to be like the best mentor in the world or something like that. Which
yeah,
I'd be surprised, but
no, far too self-centered. But we all know he's going to go away on a dark retreat. He's going to smoke some ayahuasca or however the hell you do ayahuasca. I have no idea. And
drink it.
You drink it? Okay. He's going to do some ayahuasca, chug a bottle, and he's going to have a new plan forward for himself when he gets back from that and whatever else Aaron Rodgers is due during the offseason. But yeah. Before we get into the giveaway, something we did not mention is our boy Jared Allen finally getting into the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2025. Well-deserved honor. Obviously an absolute stud when we got him from the Chiefs. Yeah, man. Jared Allen finally into the Hall of Fame. There's only 4 guys that are getting in this year. It's a pretty small class. Normally, I thought there's a lot more than that. But yeah, Eli Manning didn't make it on the first as a first ballot Hall of Famer, which a lot of people have some opinions on. But yeah, Jared Allen, huge, well-deserved honor for him, and super cool he's going in as a Viking. So that's
69.
That's awesome for him.
Yeah, man.
Long time coming.
Yep, it has been, man. Real long time coming. He deserved it. Again, everybody. Hey, Steve, by the way, I do have a couple Packer cards somewhere. You probably deserve one anyways, but if you win, I definitely have at least a couple Packer cards. And again, everybody, giving away. I bought a bunch of Viking. I'm changing things up a little bit. Instead of just letting you guys have whatever card I choose, I just bought a ton of cards, and I'll let you guys choose who you want, what card you want, all that good stuff. So get the hashtag Skols in the comments, like the video, and subscribe. We're about to do this giveaway here as normal. And yeah, all that gets good stuff. Get them hashtag Skols in here.
Only 4 go in unless 80% vote on others. Okay, gotcha. Makes sense. Does Jamie have? Yes, we do have a Will Reichert card.
I do have Will Reichert cards. I do. I have good ones. So let's see what I got here. So we got a bunch of, this is a pretty cool card actually of Dallas Turner, this prismatic. That's cool. I got a bunch of JJ McCarthy's. This is a really cool Will Reichert card actually, the red, white, and blue Will Reichert. This is a cool one. Will Reichert, this like green pulse card. We got Justin Jefferson silver. That's cool. We got, this one's cool.
Is he wearing the throwback jersey in that Justin Jefferson one too? Look like he
is wearing the throwback jersey, silver prism. And this is kind of a cool one. And I mentioned this earlier, Kyrie Jackson rookie card. Obviously, he unfortunately didn't get a chance to wear purple. So there's none of him actually in a Viking uniform. We got TJ Hawkinson, Disco. So we got a bunch of stuff in here. I even got more than that. But yeah, get the hashtag Skulls in there. And I'll let y'all, whoever wins, just let me know what player you want or whatever. And we'll find something for you.
Absolutely. But anyway, let us get rolling.
All right. Someone's up. Was when I played that music to you, did it make your voice sound off? The background music. I don't know. When I played the background music earlier, it got really quiet. So I was just wondering. All right. Boom. Giveaway. Get the correct one here. There we go. All right. 5 names. Y'all know the rules. Whoever wins makes it to the duck race. Whoever wins that gets to pick their card. Changing it up. Yes. That's why I bought these cards, George. That's why I had a Justin Jefferson ready for you, and I sent that one out to you. But anyways, let's get it rolling. Boom. After this, y'all definitely go check out Purple Parlor. Skol for life. Skol for life. Are you here? Let us know. Skol for life. We'll keep on rolling here. What we got next? Norse.
So Skol for life is here.
Norse is here.
Norse is here.
Norse is here. Let's go. Keep on rolling. Keep on rolling. Boom. Steve.
Oh boy.
He made it. He's gonna take my only Packer cards. Thank you. Steve's in here, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh, there he is. All right, keep on rolling. Boom. Mr. Cheese. Darren.
Well, I wonder which record card he's gonna want if he wins.
Got some good in there. I got a bunch of Will the Thrill cards, actually. I just went out and bought a shit ton. Boom. Bleeding Purple. When was the last time we seen Bleeding? He's usually in here till the end. Bleeding Purple, let us know.
He's here.
Yep. Hey. And that was it. That was the last one.
All right.
Yep. Obviously, I got a shit ton of cards, so we'll just keep rolling like this moving forward here. Give some options, I thought. Why not? Oops, brought the same screen up. All right, there we go. 45 seconds. Got the names in here. Set. 9 for JJ McCarthy. 4, 5. Whoa, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right. Let's rock it. 3, 2, 1. Boom. And Barber, remember, Barber, I'm going to let you grab a card in here too. I told you I would. All right.
Pretty even race so far. When's Superman gonna?
Really even. Superman's just taking. Superman's a little bit too confident. I feel like. Wow, this is interesting, huh? All right, we're getting some people falling back.
Oh, here goes Darren. Oh boy, Darren, that's never a good sign. It's never a good sign.
No, not usually.
Unless he's got it. Oh no.
Oh, Superman. Steve.
And we're giving away Packer cards.
These Viking cards, and it's going to be a Packer card.
Oh, of course.
W.
Here we go, Steve.
W. All right, so.
Which unfortunate Packers cards do you have?
I'll check in 1 second here. Barber, you can either, yeah, all right, gotcha. Perfect, yep. Kyrie, Jackson, Carmen, your way, Barber. Give me 1 second here. I'll see.
You got to go find him even? Oh, boy. That was a very close race. I've never actually seen it that close before. Yeah, Jamie's gonna. I don't know what he has. Of course, he wasn't prepared for you to be here and for you to win. I don't think so. He's got to go. Dig him up. Dig him up out of his closet. The gods have spoken. Yeah. Like Jamie said, of course, as soon as he buys all these different Vikings cards, that's when the Packers fan finds his way to win. Yeah, we will go look for that. But anyway,
All right.
Oh, what's he got?
All right, this is what we got. We got a Tyron Hopper rookie card numbered out of 275. So a numbered Packer rookie. I mean, I don't know if this guy's going to be good. Probably not because he plays for the Packers, but it's a solid card. It's a solid card. So I got you, Steve. And I might have like one or two more Packer cards somewhere, but we got you.
Absolutely. Anything else from you before we hop off here?
Since Steve's never actually accepted a card from us.
Yeah, that's right.
Make sure you email us a good spot to send that card. And I appreciate everybody in here. Appreciate everybody that donated to Evil, Young Smokey, of course, and our guys, Skol Mafia. Obviously, appreciate every other person in here for popping in and hanging out with us and talking some football, specifically Vikings football. Yeah, appreciate y'all.
Absolutely. Yeah. Go ahead. Go check out Purple Parlor. They are live right now. So once we're done here, go check them out. We'll be back next Monday. Make sure to tune in then. See you guys next week.
Let's go Vikes.